What's up everyone, Vu of NVU Films again, back with another stupid video for you to watch. And firstly, if this is your first time watching one of my review videos, I just want to let you know that this is not like other YouTube reviews, okay? It's not super technical, it's different. And if I offend you, I'm not really that sorry, because if someone doesn't like you, it is not your problem, it's theirs. Secondly, please visit the sponsor for this video, B&H Pho, Bit and Ho Pho restaurant. They open on Jewish holidays. Matter of fact, they open every holiday because Asians never close. Also, they do not take Paybu credit cards. The owner told me the only card he cares about is getting his daughter a green card. So if anyone is open to marrying his daughter, you get 5% off your next order. Also, if you use promo code You Break You Buy, I Break I Cry, you get 1.5% off your next order. Not the order that you use the promo code on, the next order after that. B&H Pho, Bit and Ho Pho noodles. Thirdly, why do I have all these lenses on this table other than to show off? I don't know, I have no idea why I have all these lenses on this table. I just think it's cool. I'm not gonna sit here and name every single lens that I have on this table, but you can go ahead and take a guess in the comments below. And if you guess all of them correctly, you get absolutely nothing. So let's get to it, all right? Today I am reviewing this lens I just got. It's a Tamron 17-28 f2.8 wide angle zoom. And I want to actually more so compare it with the 16-35 millimeter G Master lens. Right off the bat, the Tamron is lighter and it's smaller. Even with this lens hood on, which I'll take off for a better size comparison. Yeah, it's definitely smaller. And most importantly, the GM, when flaccid at 35 millimeters, it looks like this. But when you want to do wide angle zoom, it gets erected to this. It gets very excited and erected. So I'm gonna put this back down. And when the Tamron zooms in and out, nothing happens. Some would call this erectile dysfunction, but I call this awesome. Because when you balance this on a gimbal, you don't have to worry about it going off balance, which I'll actually do in a bit. I'm going to balance it with the DJI Ronin-SC with the A7 III with the Manfrotto RC2 quick release plate. Okay, because that's a popular setup and I want to make sure that this would balance on a Ronin-SC with no issues. So first things first, the GM is a better built lens, okay? It has autofocus, manual focus switches, which I really don't care for too much. I don't really use, so that's not a big deal. And it has a custom button here, which I actually don't use, so it's not a big deal for me. But the GM is definitely a more robust lens. Okay, that doesn't mean the Tamron is built poorly. It is actually a very nicely built lens. It feels really good. It doesn't feel cheap. Maybe there's some more plastic here, I don't know, but I think it feels pretty good to me. It's not bad. What I did was I went out and I took some photos and some videos to test these lenses together to see how they stack up. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I'm the most technical person on the planet. I am not. This is not a scientific test. What I look at is things that matter to me. And what matters to me is how the overall image looks and how the balls look. I really like to observe the balls that these lenses produce. The bokeh balls, I mean, just to be more specific. Like I said, it's not a super scientific test, it's not anything crazy, but here it is. So I just did a quick test with the Tamron 17-28 and the Sony 16-35 G Master lens. This is not a scientific test. I am not super technical and I'm not gonna pretend to be, but What I ended up doing was I took a 28mm photo with the Tamron at f2.8, and I also took a 28mm photo with the Sony G Master at f2.8 to just look at the out of focus area, the balls, as the bokeh balls, not balls, just the bokeh balls. Because that's what is usually important to me in terms of images. I really like round balls. I don't like cat eye looking balls. I just like my balls really round. And I'm gonna assume most of the negative commenters on my other YouTube videos also like round balls. Not bokeh balls, but double dribbling balls on their chin. But what I'm reviewing here is just how it looks. And to be quite honest with you, I can't really tell the difference, but I would have to say that the 16 to 35 G Master balls just look a little bit smoother to me. The Tamron has like a slight oniony look to it, but it's not a big deal. I mean, no one really looks at it that hard anyway. As long as the overall image looks nice, then I'm okay with it, and it seems like the case. It looks nice. I did it at 28mm and at quote-unquote 17mm. So the Tamron does 17 at the widest, so the GM I try to set it around 17mm, and I tested it there as well. And just to throw in you know, how much of a baller I am, I put in some examples of the G Master at the I also put in examples of the 24mm GM lens at f2.8 and at f1.4, just so you can see how bokeh-licious those balls are. And I did the same thing with the Tamron and the 1635 GM. I did those at 24mm as well. And most importantly, I think this is going to be a big deal for a lot of landscapers, photographers, a lot of real estate photographers. They're going to try to see if that 17mm is enough. There's no question that the Tamron is sharp based on other reviews I've read. So it should be good for real estate and other professional use. But is the 17mm wide enough? We'll see here in these photos. So I took one at 17mm, just, you know, of the street, and then I did the same thing at 16mm. And this is the difference that you see. 16 versus 17. Is that enough for you to warrant that extra millimeter? So just look at the corners now. You know, on that house on the right, you can see some sky and some trees, and pretty much on the right with the 17mm, that's gone. You know, so, you know, overall, all in all, I think it's not too bad. I think if I were to shoot real estate, I think I could probably get away with shooting 17mm. I don't know. You tell me what you think in the comments below. Those are the photos. That's really all I really look into when it comes to lenses. I don't sit there and nitpick sharpness, because you could always add some sharpening here and there, but you cannot change how the out of focus area looks most of the time. You know, if it's cat eye bokeh, that's just a lens characteristic. If it's round bokeh, that's a lens characteristic. And both the Tamron and the 1635 bokeh is quite round, so the balls are nice and round. The Tamron has like a little bit of that oniony action going on, but to be honest, you know, no one's gonna sit there and nitpick it, so it's not too bad. Overall, you know, if I were to pick, I would say the GM, the 1635 GM's image is a bit more pleasing. If you know, if I sat there and just looked at it hard, I think the GM is more pleasing, and it should be at that price. What was it, like $2,100? So next, I just did a quick video autofocus test of the Tamron and the 1635. I just did it at 28mm. I just did it once, and I just, you know, did the thing where I see a lot of YouTubers do, where they take the image and take it in and out and just see which one performed faster. They both kind of perform the same to me, you know, depending real world situation, they'll both perform fine. I didn't do any tracking because I was too lazy, but I think there shouldn't be any issues here. They both performed quite closely together, I think. Again, let me know in the comments which one you thought was faster. Alright, so now that that's done, let's try to balance this thing on a gimbal. Alright. I could smell it already. Somebody's gonna comment, oh, why can't you also balance it on the Weebill Lab? Why can't you also balance it on a Ronin-SC? Why can't you also balance it on a Moza Air? Why don't you go balance some big old ball? Okay, I'm not gonna talk about that in this YouTube video, but do you understand how long these videos take? All right, it takes forever, you know? I actually just ran out of battery or something and had to start all over. It's some bull crap, but the time investment in making these videos is ridiculous. You think it takes like 2 seconds? It really doesn't, okay? I actually have other crap I gotta do where I actually get stuff that I actually get paid to do, you know? I can't afford all those lenses I had in this table, you know, doing freaking YouTube videos. Okay, stuff takes time, bro. It takes time, fam. So let me try to balance this thing. Cap off. All right, let's get to it, huh? Let's get to balancing this gimbal. All right, so the DJI Ronin-SC is now balancing the Tamron 17-28 lens on a 7.3 with the Manfrotto RC2 plate, and as you can see here, that doesn't clear at the bottom there, but the eye cup clears. So all you wide angle gimbal lovers, look at that. Look at that. Flaccid, erected. Flaccid, erected. And this thing didn't extend. But it'll still do that work though. You know, it's not all about the size. I'm not saying that because I'm Asian. I don't have that problem, I think. Anyways, there you have it. Tamron 17-28 balance on the Ronin-SC. So let's go to my final thoughts on this, and why do I have 2 wide angle zooms? The truth is, I plan on getting rid of one of them. And which one am I going to get rid of? So I've decided that I'm going to be selling my 16-35 GM. And it's not because the 16-35 GM is not worth the money, okay? The 16-35 GM, it's the better lens. To me, it takes the more pleasing image. It's better built. It's a G Master. It can handle, I believe, more than 100 megapixels. So you know that when Sony releases the A7R36 at 120 megapixels, this lens should theoretically handle all those pixels. The reason why I'm going with a Tamron is because I really rarely use a 16-35. I use mostly my prime lenses when I'm on shoots, weddings, commercial, whatever it is. I'm always using primes because I believe the primes just are better quality, and it makes me, I feel more creative when I'm forced to use fixed focal lens. And the images just overall look better with the prime lenses. So the reason why I'm going with the 1728 is because I actually want to do more of these types of videos. So I actually ordered an Alpha 6400 so I could have like a more run and gun setup to do talking head stuff like this wherever, not necessarily like at a studio base like this, but like I could be out and about, and if I have a thought in mind, I could pull the A6400 out and I'll pair it with the Tamron, because you know it's a good zoom range, and on APS-C this is roughly like a 25 millimeter, like 48 millimeter or something like that. So it's pretty versatile, and it has a fixed aperture of f2.8, and it's light and it's relatively compact compared to the 1635, which is bigger and heavier and not as compact, and the quality of the Tamron is quite good compared to the GM. Again, the GM is the better lens. All right, let's be very clear about that. And also, the Alpha 6400 plus the Tamron lens is about the same price as the 1635 GM by itself. So it just makes more sense to me to sell the 1635 because I'm not going to use that as much. Now, what about you? If you are high roller, you got the stacks. You do professional shoots, you do a lot of real estate shoots, you do $1 million real estate listings, and you want the best possible photo, you want that 16 millimeter, you go for the GM. You are taking photos that you know is going to be put on a billboard, or you're taking landscape photos to put on National Geographic, or maybe be featured on Peter McKinnon's YouTube channel, then you want to use the 1635 GM, okay? If you have other situations, you just need a good lens, and you're shooting weddings, you should probably still do the 1635 if you want the best quality possible, like very minute, but the Tamron will do the job. If you're shooting family, the Tamron should do the job. If you want a good light travel lens, the Tamron should do the job. 17 millimeters, as I showed on my examples, it is not as wide as the 16, but it does the job. I think, if you're just doing like small real estate shoots here and there, like, you're doing them in bulk for Redfin or whatever, the 17 millimeter Tamron should do the job. So yeah, it really just depends on the situation, your situation, what you're trying to get out of it. I'm gonna repeat myself. The GM is the better lens. If you want the best wide angle zoom, you get the GM. Okay, I know Sigma is releasing like the 1224 and all that stuff, but that lens is big and massive. I'm not sure if you can put filters on it. So you have options, but I think the 1635 is still the best overall for like image production lens. Okay, but the Tamron is good and is right up there and it's cheap. So I highly recommend it. So yeah, that is my review. I hope you found this stuff helpful. If you like, you like this content, you like these types of videos, you like my style, you like my stupid jokes and all that stuff, I appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, and share. Leave comments below if you have any questions. I'm gonna put links in the description for all this stuff. So, I really appreciate everyone who's subscribed to my channel. I know, I'm not for everybody, and that's okay. I'm just trying my best to be myself in these videos. So I appreciate it. And until next time, lighten up.